Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. I do not know what I'm going to title it yet, and I'm sorry if I look to the side. I'm getting used to looking at the camera, looking at you guys.
Don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe so I can continue
To upload videos. I know I have not uploaded it. I'm so sorry, but school has absolutely taken over my life and I have not had time to do anything, literally anything. So today is actually my first day of summer vacation. I'm gonna take the time to film, to edit, and to post these videos up for you guys so I can get feedback and to see what you guys like and don't like. So this happened about 2 weeks ago, and so this is a very fresh story. So I was working with my mom. She works at this small convenience store very close to my house, and I was just organizing things in the store. I love reorganizing and putting things in different places and fixing the store up so it looks nice. It's not our store, my mom works there, but I go and help her often actually. And I was fixing some things outside because the store is pretty small, so we utilize the space outside to advertise whatever we're selling. So we have this rack. It's kind of like a chip rack where you're able to organize chips, but we use it for other things. So I was there organizing things and minding my business, and there's a lot of foot traffic, a lot of people passing by. And I noticed this lady was standing right behind me, and I'm used to that because I'm organizing all the time and people come in and I welcome them. I'm like, hi, how are you? What can I get for you? Or what are you looking for? Are you looking for anything specifically? So I help them out in that sense. So I'm very alert of who's around because I'm ready, to help the customer with what they need. So I'm standing there and I look at her, but she's on the phone. It's a lady. She's on the phone, and I didn't pay much attention after that because it didn't look like she was interested in buying anything. So I'm just like, okay, she was just standing there. So she's on the phone and she looks very scared, first of all, and she has a paper in her hand and she's going like this. And she's going like this. She's handing it to me, and I'm just like, you're not saying anything. I'm not gonna take this paper from you. I don't know what this is. So I'm just staring at her, and I continue fixing the rack. And my mom's not paying attention because she's helping out another customer inside the store. When she did notice it, she came to the front and she's like, what is this? What can I get for you? What is this? She was talking about the paper the lady had. And the lady's like, shh, shh. And she shushed my mom, and she's still on the phone. So she has her phone and she's handing me this note or this letter or this paper, and she's handing me this paper. So I still don't get it. So what she does is she throws it inside the rack that I was organizing, and I was like, what the hell, what's wrong with this lady? So I didn't give her the benefit of, or the satisfaction of me picking up the paper. So when she threw it, I just left it there and I continued doing or minding my business. I didn't pick it up right away. So when I did that, later my mom told me that she actually turned around and looked to see if I had picked up the paper. And of course I did a couple seconds later, but she ended up leaving. The lady just threw the paper and left. So I was very confused, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't pick it up right away. I continued organizing whatever I was doing, and I picked it up. This paper stated, it was a note. A handwritten note. It was like on a post-it note. Is that what they're called? A notepad. And I have it here with me because she gave it to me and I kept it. And I don't know if I want to post a picture of this or if I just want to read it because she might, privacy reasons. I just don't want to be so invasive. So I pick it up, I read it, and it says in Spanish. I'm gonna read it in Spanish and then I'll translate. It says, llamen la policía, secuestraron a mi hija, favor por ayudarme o ayúdenme. So this note was written very fast, so it's not, okay, that doesn't matter, hold on. So in English it means, call the police, they kidnapped my daughter, please help me. Or thank you for helping, or help me, something like that. I can't even translate it in Spanish correctly because it's not spelled correct. It's just written like scrabbled. As long as it's written in the way that it's understandable, but you have to kind of, figure it out because everything is misspelled, words are not put together, they're like separated when it's one whole word. So she gave me this paper and I was standing there in not shock but confused. I was like, okay, I have this information with me. She told me, it says, call the cops, my daughter was kidnapped, help me, or please help me, or thank you for helping me, something like that. So my mom is still helping this customer and I'm like, oh, like I knew I wanted to call the cops, but I just needed to tell my mom before I did all this. So I'm waiting for the customer to leave and she's like, what happened? I'm like, it says to call the cops, it says to call the cops. I was panicking a little bit. I know I shouldn't have done that, but it came out of nowhere. I was confused, I didn't know what to do. And she said, what happened? I'm like, this lady gave me this note and it says this, and what do I do? She's like, no, nothing. And I'm like, no, we need to do something. And the thing is that the lady handed me the paper and simply left. So I had absolutely no information on who this woman was, on who her daughter was that was, allegedly kidnapped, and I had no information. So I knew I wanted to call the police, but I also knew that I was going to tell them, this is all the information I have. I don't know anything else. I didn't know what to do with this information, so this is why I'm calling you guys. Just in case this is something very serious, I at least try to call the cops and let them do with the information whatever they want to. So I tell my mom, I'm like, I'm calling the cops, and she finally agrees. She's like, okay, call the cops and just tell them that, she left, you don't have information. So I do. So I get my phone, 911. It's always a weird feeling to call 911. I don't know if it's just me, because I think I've called 911 like twice, but it wasn't for me. It's always for an outside situation. But it's always like nerve-wracking. I don't know, like it scares me. So I call 911.
It rings. And 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 it rings.
Nobody picks up. It says all the operators are busy. I don't remember what it said, but I remember just like hanging up because I was upset that they didn't pick up. And it said something about, if this is a real emergency, call this 1-800 something number. And I just clicked and I hung up. I'm like, no, like I'm not gonna be, no. So a couple minutes pass by and I call again. The same thing happens. It rings and rings and it rings and nobody picks up. So I'm like, okay, if this lady said someone kidnapped her daughter, she was on the phone, maybe this person has her on the phone and is telling her, don't hang up, I'm asking for this much money, you can't talk to the police, you can't talk to anyone, send me this money, and you need to keep me on the line because I want to make sure you're not calling the cops or talking to someone, which is why she gave me the paper and shushed my mom when she asked what it was, because she was scared the person on the line was going to hear her and she was not supposed to be, contacting anyone. In my head, I'm like, okay, if her daughter is getting kidnapped or is kidnapped, she's probably they're probably asking for money and she's probably going to send that money. So there's a Western Union right down the block of where my mom works, and that's like my thought process was that she's at Western Union, she's about to send money because her daughter is kidnapped and she's like doing the transaction. So I go to the Western Union and I'm inside the Western Union and there's like 3 people there. There's 2 women and 1 guy. And I did not recognize anyone. I didn't recognize anyone because when the lady passed by, I didn't take a good look at her. It was just something that happened very quickly. So when I went in there, I wasn't sure who I was looking for. I noticed this lady who was at the cashier with this gentleman. And the gentleman was a cashier and she was in the window, and I'm trying to like look around her to see if I recognize her face or anything, and I'm trying to listen to the conversation if I hear anything similar or familiar. And I even look at the rest of the cashiers to see if they notice anything or any weird behavior, because this person was acting kind of weird, the woman. So I'm just staring at her to, waiting for a sign that this is her, because that would be really awkward if this is a random person and I go up to them and I'm like, did you hand me this note that your daughter was kidnapped, So I'm looking at her stuff to see if I recognize something, and I see the notepad or the stack of sticky notes that looked exactly like the one that she handed me. So she had the stack of the same notepad that the note was written in. So that confirmed to me that it was her. And then she moved a little bit to the right, and there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars right in the counter, just ready to be sent. So again, this just confirmed that it was her. So I didn't know what to do. I had already tried to call the police and no one answered. So I hear what she's saying, and I'm trying to like listen in on what's going on. So she's saying, you know, she's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just, you know, I'm sorry, I make transactions all the time, haha. Like, she was nervously trying to make a conversation, and meanwhile she still had her phone on the side, and I think she was still talking to whoever the person did this or allegedly did this. So she's like, yeah, I'm gonna make a transaction of $2,600 to the name of, and she was trying to look for the name. And again, this is just a confirmation, because I still was like, is this her, is this not her, even though I saw the same notepad, but you know, it can be a coincidence. And I was like, okay, this is just another confirmation that it is her, because she doesn't know who she's sending the money to. She's like frantically looking through her papers, trying to find a name, or trying to find something to, or yeah, the name or a note that stated the name of the person who she was gonna send it to. She's like, to the name of, she was just panicking. So I go to another cashier and I tell her, can I speak to you? She's like, yeah. I'm like, can I speak to you outside? So I didn't know that I could whisper and she could completely hear me, because you know those windows at, you know, like certain places where you need to speak so loud and you can't hear them and they can't hear you. So I'm like, I'm not gonna scream this out. So I told her, can you like come outside? She's like, no, I'm not allowed to do that. So I completely understand. But I'm like, yeah, you know, this lady handed me a note saying that her daughter was kidnapped and to call the police. And she's like, this lady right there. I'm like, yeah, the one in the corner of the store. So she's like, yeah, she gave us the same paper. We already called the police. She's like, where are you coming from? Like, you know, how did you know about this? I'm like, and I said, my mom works at a store in the same, you know, street, in the same block, and I just imagined she would be here, so this is why I'm here. She's like, yeah, we already called the cops and they're on their way. And like 1 minute later, the cops showed up, at least 3 of them, and I pointed to the lady because they were confused and nobody was there. Nobody seemed to be out of place, or, you know, no one seemed mysterious or suspicious. So I pointed to the lady and I told him, it's her, you know, it's her. And they're trying to talk to her, but she doesn't want to talk to anyone, because you can hear the radio, you can hear the police, you can hear everything. And she was afraid that if whoever the person she was on the phone with was gonna hear that, you know, they might do something to her daughter, or they might just hang up and, you know, never hear from them again. And it's completely understandable, because many situations actually happen like that, where once the other person hears the police is involved, they just get rid of everything. So that is a very scary situation, and I completely understood her when she was trying to push, not physically push, but just get away from the cops. She was literally like running away from them, but she needed the help, because she obviously asked us to call them, but she was just not sure on how to deal with the situation. I'm trying to approach her and I'm telling them, you know, she's on the phone with the person who says they have her daughter, and the policemen do not speak any Spanish. They work in a Hispanic Latino community. You should know Spanish if you're going to be working for the people who speak Spanish, because there's no way for you to communicate with them in an emergency. I'm telling the lady, you know, calm down, it's okay, the police are here to help you. They are trying to help you figure the situation out, but you need to let us know more information on, you know, what's going on. And I'm telling her all this in Spanish, and the cop was like, ask her where her daughter is and when did this happen, you know, where's her daughter? And I'm telling her, you know, where's your daughter? Is she here in the United States? Is she in another country? She's like, no, she's here in LA, in California. She works at this store here. That, like, she was giving me more information on her. She stated her first and last name, and I told the police that information. And but this was a process. It didn't happen like, you know, where's your daughter? Oh, she's here. What's her name? This and that. No, it was a process of asking her and trying to calm her down, because she was very nervous. She was very scared. She was in tears. So it was very difficult for any information to be taken out of her. And I'm trying to give this information to the police, and they were just like, yeah, we're just gonna wait for our partner to come. He speaks Spanish. I'm just like, why are you gonna wait for someone to translate this when I am clearly here? I can clearly translate the information, because it's not like long sentences either. It's not an interview. It's yes or no, or a couple word answers, or where is she, what's her name, who are you, what's your name, where did you come from, who's calling you, what's the number. So it's like, it kind of frustrated me at the moment. I'm like, why are you gonna wait for another police officer to come? We don't know where they're at. We don't know how long it's gonna take. What if this is a very serious situation where the other person is just a matter of time? They're just waiting for the money to be deposited right away. But no, the police actually waited for another officer to come in and translate for them. And I stayed a little bit, and the police, as soon as the guy came in, the police officer, he told the lady, put all your money away, because she had, like I said, hundreds of bills, exactly $2,600 laid out in front of her, ready to send off to whoever this person was. And they told her, put all your money away. I need you to calm down. And I know they're trained to be this way. They're trained to not show any emotion, but I've never experienced this before. Obviously, I've never had this situation, and they were very blunt. It looked like they didn't care, but I know they have to control their emotions. They can't, show what they're feeling, because you're just gonna worsen the situation, especially because they are the police officers. They're supposed to maintain everything or have everything under control. So they're like, okay, calm down, put all your money away. This can be a scam. We need to put everything away. Just calm down. And in my head, I'm just like, how can you tell a mother to calm down when she has just received a call that her child was kidnapped and could possibly be killed if this transaction isn't complete? But again, I understand their stand in this situation. So they tell her, calm down, this can be a scam. There are many people who do this, who call others and tell them that they have their daughter when they really don't, and they ask you to send money through Western Union, because there's no way of tracking that or getting that back. Once that money was going to be sent, that was that. There's no way of getting it back, because the other person is already on the other side ready to receive it. He tells her that, and I'm just standing on the side. I'm not directly in the situation. Once the police arrived and they didn't need my help, I just moved to the side and stayed there. And she was screaming and crying. At this point, she was very irate. She was very, she was literally in tears, bawling her eyes out, saying, my daughter, they have my daughter. And it was very sad to see. Even the cashiers were just like in awe. Like, one of them was just like this with her mouth closed. She didn't know what to do, because you see this lady in this situation, and you absolutely can't do anything about it. And then you see these police officers who are just like, calm down, this can be a scam, just calm down, just calm down. It doesn't help the situation, telling someone who is nervous and in this like state of anxiety to just calm down. But yeah, they were asking her where her daughter was and to call her daughter. She said, I already called her. I haven't heard from her. She's not picking up. And they said, where is your daughter? Like, where can she be right now? Where is she supposed to be right now? And she said she's supposed to be working at this store somewhere in LA. She mentioned the specific store, but I'm just not going to give that information out there. But she said, yeah, she's supposed to be working there. She's not picking up. So what the police officers said, we're going to go to the store and see if she's there. And they left, and that was it. That's all the information I have. I'm sorry if this is kind of like a cliffhanger. I know the first and last name of this person, of this child. It was I don't even know if I should say her age. She's not a minor, but I just feel, invasive. So, she stated her age, her first and last name, and where she worked. And I kind of wanted to go and, see if everything turned out okay. If it was all just a big scam and, she's totally fine. She was at work. Maybe she couldn't pick up her phone. But I have no information. I do not want to go and, go into her job and be like, does this person work here? Is she okay? But it's just like, I will never know what happened to her unless I see the lady again. But I don't know if she's familiar with the area, or just because the Western Union was there is why she happened to pass by. And yes, it was crazy. And the thing was that I have dreamt before that I call 911, and for some reason I'm not able to dial the numbers. So instead of pressing like 911, I press like 651 or something. Like my finger just does not go to the correct number. So I'm like deleting, trying to dial these 3 numbers. And I've dreamt before that I've called and they didn't pick up. So, and that's exactly what happened. And it's scary, because if this was I'm not saying this wasn't a serious situation, but if this was a situation where I needed the cops right away, if there's a shooting, if there was a guy with a knife, if anything, you know, we would hope that the police or the 911 operators answered the phone. So let's see, let's do a lesson of this story time. Lesson of this story time is going to be to trust your instincts, do what you need to do to help others. Although I did not have any information on the lady once she left the place that I was at least I did something for the situation. But the cops were already called, and the other cashiers at Western Union were already aware of the situation, which was good. So I wasn't, you know, alone on this, and I wasn't alone on what to do. Well, yeah, meanwhile all this happened, I went back to my mom, and she was worried because I had taken, you know, a couple minutes, maybe like 15-20 minutes there, and I'm like, Mom, you know, it was true, it's all true. The lady was there about to make a transaction, the police were there and everything, and she got really scared. She's a very like nervous person when it comes to situations like that. So yeah, that happened, and it's insane, and I hope it was just all a scam. But it's very upsetting and frustrating that people do this for a living. They scare families and they threaten to kill their loved ones when their loved ones are just at home minding their own business. And people send money because, you know, anyone is willing to do anything for their family members, for someone they love, whether it be money, whether, you know, send me this, give me that. They're willing to do it. So they target those people who are in a vulnerable situation for these type of, you know, events. So yeah, this is it for this story time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe, and comment down below what kind of videos you guys want to watch. If you guys like more of these story times, I have a lot of more stories to tell, from funny, from sad, from scary, everything. So comment down below, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. I don't know, I still figuring mine out, but for now, bye guys.